The creature in the classroom. It appeared inside our classroom at 10:15. It gobbled up the blackboard, 3 erasers, and a pen. It gobbled teacher's apple, and it bopped her with the core. "How dare you," she responded. "You must leave us. There's the door." The creature didn't listen, but described an arabesque as it gobbled all her pencils, 7 notebooks, and her desk. Teacher stated very calmly, "Sir, you simply cannot stay. I'll report you to the principal unless you go away." But the thing continued eating. It ate paper, swallowed ink. As it gobbled up our homework, I believe I saw it wink. Teacher finally lost her temper. "Out!" she shouted at the creature. The creature hopped beside her and glop! It gobbled teacher.
This is the sound of educational public radio. We're going to do the multiplication table today. Math on the airways.
Homework. Homework sits on top of Sunday, squashing Sunday flat. Homework has the smell of Monday. Homework's very fat. Heavy books and piles of paper. Answers I don't know. Sunday evening's almost finished. Now I'm going to go do my homework in the kitchen. Maybe just a snack. Then I'll sit right down and start. As soon as I run back for some chocolate sandwich cookies. Then I'll really do all that homework in a minute. First, I'll see what new show they've got on television in the living room. Everybody's laughing there. But misery and gloom and a full refrigerator are where I am at. I'll just have another sandwich. Homework's very fat.
bugs the problem? Call 555-BUGS.
Bugs in the Night. Spiders, beetles, dragonflies, caterpillars, ants in ties, termites, moths and bumblebees, worms and wasps. Yes, even fleas. I dream of bugs the whole night long. They fill my head with insect song. They even once escaped my dream and chased me, though I didn't scream. Out of the bed and down the stairs, I crashed into the lamps and chairs, for in the dark I quite forgot where things were and what was what. Dazed, I sat upon the floor. The room looked like there'd been a war. I gazed about with open eyes, and suddenly I was surprised. Gone were beetles, dragonflies, caterpillars, ants and ties, termites, moths and bumblebees, worms and wasps. Yes, even fleas.
The story of Augustus who would not have any soup. Augustus was a chubby lad. Fat, ruddy cheeks Augustus had. And everybody saw with joy the plump and hearty, healthy boy. He ate and drank as he was told, and never let his soup get cold. But one day, one cold winter's day, he screamed out, "Take the soup away! Oh, take the nasty soup away! I won't have any soup today!" Next day, now look, the picture shows how lank and lean Augustus grows. Yet, though he feels so weak and ill, the naughty fellow cries out still. "Not any soup for me, I say! Oh, take the nasty soup away! I won't have any soup today!" The third day comes. Oh, what a sin! To make himself so pale and thin! Yet, when the soup is put on table, he screams as loud as he is able. "Not any soup for me, I say! Oh, take the nasty soup away! I won't have any soup today!" Look at him. Now the fourth day's come. He scarcely weighs a sugar plum. He's like a little bit of thread. And on the fifth day, he was dead.
Firehouse Chili, just off of Route 44.
Matilda, who told lies and was burned to death. Matilda told such dreadful lies, it made one gasp and stretch one's eyes. Her aunt, who from her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth, attempted to believe Matilda. The effort very nearly killed her, and would have done so had not she discovered this infirmity. For once, towards the close of day, Matilda, growing tired of play and finding she was left alone, went tiptoe to the telephone and summoned the immediate aid of London's noble fire brigade. Within an hour, the gallant band were pouring in on every hand, from Putney, Hackney Downs and Bow. With courage high and hearts aglow, they galloped, roaring through the town. Matilda's house is burning down. Inspired by British cheers and loud proceeding from the frenzied crowd, they ran their ladders through a score of windows on the ballroom floor and took peculiar pains to souse the pictures up and down the house, until Matilda's aunt succeeded in showing them they were not needed, and even then she had to pay to get the men to go away. It happened that a few weeks later her aunt was off to the theatre to see that interesting play, The Second Mrs. Tanqueray. She had refused to take her niece to hear this entertaining piece, a deprivation just and wise to punish her for telling lies. That night, a fire did break out. You should have heard Matilda shout. You should have heard her scream and bawl and throw the window up and call to people passing in the street, the rapidly increasing heat encouraging her to obtain their confidence. But all in vain, for every time she shouted, "Fire!" they only answered, "Little liar!" And therefore, when her aunt returned, Matilda and the house were burned.
Mr. Nobody. I know a funny little man, as quiet as a mouse, who does the mischief that is done in everybody's house. There's no one ever sees his face, and yet we all agree that every plate we break was cracked by Mr. Nobody. 'Tis he who always tears our books, who leaves the door ajar. He pulls the buttons from our shirts and scatters pins afar. That squeaking door will always squeak, for prithee, don't you see? We leave the oiling to be done by Mr. Nobody. He puts damp wood upon the fire that kettles cannot boil. His are the feet that bring in mud and all the carpets soil. The papers always are mislaid. Who had them last but he? There's no one tosses them about but Mr. Nobody. The finger marks upon the door by none of us are made. We never leave the blinds unclosed to let the curtains fade. The ink we never spill. The boots that lying round you see are not our boots. They all belong
to Mr. Nobody.
Welcome to Spook Theater. We have a scary one for you today, kiddies.
The Bogeyman. In the desolate depths of a perilous place, the Bogeyman lurks, with a snarl on his face. Never dare to approach his dark lair. He's waiting, just waiting to get you. He skulks in the shadows, relentless and wild in his search for a tender, delectable child. With his steely, sharp claws and his slavering jaws, he's waiting, just waiting to get you. Many have entered his dreary domain, but not even one has been heard from again. They no doubt made a feast for the butchering beast. And he's waiting, just waiting to get you. In that sulphurous, sunless, and sinister place, he'll crumple your bones in his pokey embrace. Never, never go near if you hold your life dear. For oh, what he'll do when he gets you.
Autumn fires. In the other gardens and all up the vale, from the autumn bonfires, see the smoke trail. Pleasant summer over, and all the summer flowers. The red fire blazes, the gray smoke towers. Sing a song of seasons, something bright and all. Flowers in the summer, fires in the fall.
Tonight for the undersea adventures of Jacques Renault as he battles the evil lobster, Ingra.
The Owl and the Pussycat. The Owl and the Pussycat went to sea in a beautiful pea-green boat. They took some honey and plenty of money wrapped up in a 5-pound note. The owl looked up to the stars above and sang to a small guitar. Oh, lovely pussy, oh, pussy, my love, what a beautiful pussy you are, you are, you are. What a beautiful pussy you are. Pussy said to the owl, you elegant fowl, how charmingly sweet you sing. Oh, let us be married, too long we have tarried. But what shall we do for a ring? They sailed away for a year and a day to the land where the bong tree grows. And there in a wood, a piggy-wig stood with a ring at the end of his nose, his nose, his nose, with a ring at the end of his nose. Dear pig, are you willing to sell for 1 shilling your ring? Said the piggy, I will. So they took it away and were married next day by the turkey who lives on the hill. They dined on mince and slices of quince, which they ate with a runcible spoon. And hand in hand on the edge of the sand they danced by the light of the moon, the moon, the moon. They danced by the light of the moon.
The Tin Frog. I have hopped, when properly wound up, the whole length of the hallway. Once hopped halfway down the stairs and fell. Since then, the 2 halves of my tin have been awry. My strength is not quite what it used to be. I do not hop so well.
Sprung a leak? We can repair it. We're the Drain Brothers. No drip, too large or too small.
Wrimples. When the clock strikes 5, but it's only 4, there's a wrimple in your clock. When your key won't work in your own front door, there's a wrimple in the lock. When your brand new shoes refuse to fit, there's a wrinkle in each shoe. When the lights go out and they just were lit, that's the wrinkles doing too. When you shake and shake, but the salt won't pour, there's a wrinkle in the salt. When your cake falls flat on the kitchen floor, it's surely a wrinkle's fault. The way to fix these irksome works is obvious and simple.
I've got Wrimples.
Just search and find it where it lurks. And then remove the wrinkle.
Windy nights. Whenever the moon and stars are set, whenever the wind is high, all night long in the dark and wet, a man goes riding by. Late in the night when the fires are out, why does he gallop and gallop about? Whenever the trees are crying aloud and ships are tossed at sea, by on the highway low and loud, by at the gallop goes he. By at the gallop he goes, and then by he comes back at the gallop again.
The Duel. The gingham dog and the calico cat, side by side on the table sat. 'Twas 12:30, and what do you think? No one nor the other had slept a wink. The old Dutch clock and the Chinese plate appeared to know, as sure as fate, there was going to be a terrible spat. I wasn't there. I simply state what was told to me by the Chinese plate. The gingham dog went bow, wow, wow, and the calico cat replied, meow. The air was littered an hour or so with bits of gingham and calico, while the old Dutch clock in the chimney place up with its hands before its face, for it always dreaded a family row. Now mind, I'm only telling you what the old Dutch clock declares is true. The Chinese plate looked very blue and wailed, oh dear, what shall we do? But the gingham dog and the calico cat wallowed this way and tumbled that, employing every tooth and claw in the awfulest way you ever saw. And oh, how the gingham and calico flew. Don't fancy I exaggerate. I got my news from the Chinese plate. Next morning, where the two had sat, they found no trace of dog or cat. And some folks think unto this day that burglars stole that pair away. But the truth about the cat and pup is this: they ate each other up. Now, what do you really think of that? The old Dutch clock, it told me so, and that is how I came to know.
Jigsaw puzzle. My beautiful picture of pirates and treasure is spoiled. And almost, I don't want to start to put it together. I've lost all the pleasure I used to find in it. There's one missing part. I know there's one missing. They lost it. The others. The last time they played with my puzzle. And maybe there's more than one missing.
Along with the brothers and sisters who borrow my toys, there's the baby. There's a hole in the ship, or the sea that it sails on. And I said to my father, well, what shall I do? It isn't the same now that some of it's gone. He said, put it together. The world's like that too.